What if I told you that the greatest act of ambition is not seizing power, but walking away from it? This is the story of George Washington. A man who could have been king of the most powerful nation on earth. Instead, he chose to become a farmer. His journey from ambitious young soldier to selfless leader is one of the most inspiring stories in history, and it might just change how you see success. But Washington wasn't always the calm, selfless leader we remember. As a young man, he was ambitious, stubborn, and desperate for recognition. He wanted honor, fame, and respect. He fought in the French and Indian War, he commanded troops, and he made mistakes, costly ones. But over time, something changed. His personal ambition was transformed into something much bigger, a vision for a nation built on freedom, not on a king. In 1775, Washington was appointed commander-in-chief of the Continental Army. It was a nearly impossible job. His troops were poorly trained, poorly equipped, and poorly paid. They faced the most powerful military in the world. Washington lost more battles than he won. But he never gave up. He wrote to Congress about his army's threadbare clothes and weevil-ridden bread, their lack of pay and their sinking morale. Yet he kept the army together through sheer determination. By December 1776, the situation was desperate. The army was defeated, demoralized, and on the brink of collapse. Washington knew he had to do something dramatic. On Christmas night, he led 2,400 men across the icy Delaware River in a freezing winter storm. They marched through the night and surprised the Hessian garrison at Trenton at dawn. It was a stunning victory. But more than that, it was a statement. Washington was willing to risk everything for the cause. He admitted, "I walk on untrodden ground." He had no example to follow. He was terrified. But he moved forward anyway. The winter of 1777 to 1778 at Valley Forge was the lowest point of the war. Thousands of soldiers died from cold, starvation, and disease. Washington himself was vilified by many as an incompetent general who should be relieved of his command. He could have quit. Many leaders would have. But he stayed with his men, shared their suffering, and kept the army together. He wrote to Congressman Francis Dana, "I cannot continue thus." Yet he did continue. He refused to give up, not for fame, not for money, but because he believed in the cause and refused to let his people down. But Washington's challenges weren't just military. There was also a political conspiracy against him, the Conway Cabal. A group of officers and politicians secretly plotted to replace him as commander-in-chief. They spread rumors, questioned his leadership, and tried to undermine his authority. Washington handled it with remarkable grace. He didn't lash out or seek revenge. He simply continued to do his job, let his actions speak for themselves, and trusted that the truth would prevail. And it did. The cabal collapsed, and Washington emerged stronger than ever. In 1783, the war was finally over. America had won its independence. Washington could have claimed power for himself. Many victorious generals throughout history had done exactly that. Instead, he did something unprecedented. He voluntarily resigned his commission and returned to his farm at Mount Vernon. He wrote to a friend, "I am at length become a private citizen of America, on the banks of the Potomac, where under my own vine and my own fig tree, free from the bustle of a camp and the intrigues of a court, I shall view the busy world. He had achieved what few leaders ever do, he had won and then walked away. But America wasn't done with him. In 1789, he was unanimously elected as the first president of the United States. He didn't want the job. He had to be persuaded to leave his beloved Mount Vernon. He accepted not because he wanted power, but because he felt a deep sense of duty to his country. He wrote, "I constantly hoped that it would have been much earlier in my power, consistently with motives which I was not at liberty to disregard, to return to that retirement from which I had been reluctantly drawn." He served 2 terms, and then he did something even more remarkable. In 1796, Washington voluntarily stepped down after 2 terms. He could have stayed president for life, many begged him to. But he refused. He said, "I owe to my beloved country, for the many honors it has conferred upon me, still more for the steadfast confidence with which it has supported me." He reminded Americans that their independence and liberty were the result of common dangers, sufferings, and successes they had experienced together. He told them, "You have in a common cause fought and triumphed together." With this single act, he proved that the institution is greater than any individual. That is true leadership. So what can we learn from George Washington? Number 1, act despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. Number 2, build a team, not a throne. Surround yourself with talented people you trust. Number 3, know when to walk away. Don't let your success become your prison. Washington didn't chase power, he chased purpose. If this story inspired you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs a push, and subscribe for more motivational stories from history. Because the past is not just about dates, it's about lessons that can change your future. See you in the next video.